Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review for the morning news show. And thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Little bit to go through this morning. Not a great deal, but as usual, there is news with Newcastle United pretty much every day. So we love to bring it to you live at 11:30 on the morning. Billy's eyes look like Kim Jong-un this morning, but he is alive and well. But if you do enjoy the show, guys, as usual, hit that thumbs up button for us. And of course, if you're new, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner if you're watching this live, or just hit the subscribe button if you're watching the rerun. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload or a live show. You can become a member of the Toon Review, of course, by hitting that join button just underneath us. And you can donate to the channel, as usual, using the super chat button. And that will guarantee your comments to be read out on the show. Are we alive and kicking, Billy?
Yeah, I feel quite bright, but my eyes say different, like piss holes in the snow, don't they? But yeah.
Ollie's asking if I'm wearing a Netherlands top. No, it's South Shields away top, mate. I haven't got any international shirts, actually, believe it or not. I've got loads of football shirts, but international ones, not many, if none at all. Good morning to Ron Peacock. Johnny, good morning. Mark the Celt is in. Alexander's in. Early morning from Houston. Good God. I mean, it must be
7,
half 7? Maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
Absolutely. JT Toon's in the house. David Sharp is asking a question. Would you take Ahmed Diallo for £25 million?
Yes, I think I would.
I think so. I think he's a good talent. I think he's a really good talent. Joe's asking, morning, guys. Paul, I would like to know if you, Paul and Alex and Billy, got any players' names on the back of your Toon tops? No. I never go for names on to be honest. So
even though the shirt's begging for one, still no.
Yeah, because it's got the big white space on the back, but I never ever get players on. I've had my name on once, I think, but that was a birthday present, to be honest. So when I buy them, I just buy the shirts, guys. It's very. That's just me. Kev says I randomly have a Malta top. No England tops, but I do have Malta. That's a bit random, isn't it, Malta? It's 8:30 p.m. in Melbourne, 4:30 a.m. Central Time. Wow!
Oh, blimey.
Wow!
That's loyalty. That's loyalty.
Alex says it's 5:30 in Houston.
That's loyalty as well.
God, I mean, we have some tremendous viewers, don't we? Jans has a Belgium shirt. Well, not really a surprise, Jans. John says, good morning. First-time messenger. Good morning, John, and thank you. Is that a Netherlands jersey? No, it is South Shields away top. I do not have international shirts. Francisco is in the house as well. Good morning, Paul and Billy. Still at work, about to go home, 6:30 a.m. in the beautiful and hot tropics. We need to talk, my friend. As always, the best to you all. I'm about to reply to your email, actually, Mr. Ruiz. So that will be in your inbox very soon. Hello from Lots in Poland, says Scott. Wanted to ask on your thoughts on Iheanacho. Would you take him on a free? Well, we we spoke briefly about him yesterday. You would, Billy, wouldn't you?
As a third choice striker, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
If Wilson was to go out the door, I'd have him as a third choice and buy a half decent, very good second choice striker to kind of back up Isak. But yeah, as a third choice, without any shadow of a doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
He brings something different, doesn't he? He's got more power and that kind of thing than what Isak's got. So yeah, I would take him, yeah.
James says, all right, lads, I caught up on your video last night and noticed you're all wearing the new Toon tops. I'm still waiting on mine to be delivered. I ordered the 4XL. They're a better fit than last season. 1,000,000% they are a better fit, James. You will absolutely love how it doesn't feel like a crop top or imposing on you in any way. It's baggy in every place that it should be. So
it is.
Yeah. Lovely. Fair enough, Paul. I asked my 6-year-old son who he wanted on the back of the Toon top, and he said Joe Linton. Best player to get. Joe Linton or Bruno, obviously. Well, actually, I'd go with Joe Linton because he's just awesome, isn't he? So there you go. We haven't. Yes, that's a good point. Seaside Tooney, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up and your support. Welcome to Members Club, my friend. Morgan says this and the rest is football. is perfect to listen to whilst I'm working through a load of calculations in the office. Love it, guys. Thank you very much.
That's a nice comparison, isn't it? Love it.
Indeed. Yeah. Rich, good morning to you both. Finally catches the morning live show. You guys are so dedicated. Thank you very much, Rich. We try to be, but as are the viewers, the dedication, as we've seen, it is pretty much what we would call the middle of the night for some people who are still tuning into the morning show. Jens, thank you for your super chat, my friend. Morning, friend. Who do we think we are next after Kelly? Well, we'll talk about that. Dan Robinson's been a member for 6 months, and he says, "Good morning, TT. I hope you're all well. Sorry for being absent a while. I'm just going through a tough time. Looking forward to next week. Keep your head up, Dan. We're always here for you, matey." Cisco says, "Tell Miggy and Wilson go all out for Jared Bourne. Him and Gordon can back up Isak as of Mintez number 2 behind Bourne." I mean, that is a good thought, but
it is. But to get him out of West Ham would be, I think, nigh impossible, to be honest.
Yeah. Gavin says he can't wait for his Newcastle top. All over Facebook, Villa taking the EPL through the courts now. How far true, I would not know. Well, Keith, actually, there is quite a few reports of Villa doing that. And look, I think it's about time, in my opinion, Newcastle stepped up and officially backed one of the two clubs that are doing this, whether it be Villa or whether it be Manchester City. There has been rumours, Billy, that Newcastle United were prepared to back Manchester City last week. Didn't hear anything else, come of it. However, I think there's going to be a change here, Billy. I really do, because the more teams press on this and actually start asking serious questions, the more I think they'll get done. Because the Premier League, if there's any sort of investigation, they will not want that, as we've seen in the past.
Well, it'd be fools not to join in with a kind of and support the two clubs that are currently going through that kind of route, because it suits us. It's these rules are stifling our chance of progress, and fair play to Villa and Man City for doing it. I mean, Man City, of course, have already progressed, but they're still, having to go to the Premier League because they feel victimised by them with these charges. Aston Villa have been victimised because they've got to sell players despite having the best ever Champions League football for the first time in 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So it's madness that we don't get involved in it, because that could happen to us. Well, it is happening to us. Let's be honest. We're being forced to sell. Maybe being forced to sell players we don't want to. 100%. I think we should be definitely behind them with everything we've got. Really, I'm surprised I've done it before, to be honest.
Yeah, I still think something's going to happen, though. If I'm openly honest, I think something will happen on this. I think something's got to happen because it's just destroying football in every shape.
I think the reasons why we haven't done it before, and maybe why we were reluctant to do it now, is because of what happened at the takeover. Maybe there was kind of assurances given that they wouldn't do this kind of thing. But we shall see.
Yeah. Looney Tunes asking, is it Friday when the new memberships are released? Well, it seems to be, or either released or more information's coming out. We know that there's obviously the junior membership, but there's a 2-tier membership now for adults. There's a members and a members plus. So, we just have to wait and see, I guess. I'm quite intrigued to see what the tiers are involved. I mean, some people suggested NUFC TV was involved in the plus tier and things like that. So more details to be released on Friday, guys. And of course, we'll bring that on the news show if it's been released by the time we do the news. Claire says, I never get names, but the big white patch makes me want to get one. We'll wait until after the signing window closes. Well, the thing is, I mean, the good thing is but it's on the back, so we can't see it basically. So it doesn't matter. Hamid says, what do you think the marquee, or who do you think the marquee signing will be this summer, guys? Well, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But one signing we do know that is almost done, Billy. We spoke about him. We did a little deep dive on him last night on the transfer show. Was, of course, Lloyd Kelly. And Keith Downey has reported this morning that he's coming for a medical today. So the fact of the matter is that looks like it's going to be done and dusted, ready to go for as soon as the transfer window opens. That should be announced.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking that the medical may be the hardest bit of him this move to go through with his injury records, but I think he'll be fine. And whether we'll announce it sooner rather than later, I don't know. But as we know before, as with previous transfers, generally they're done and they're announced much later. So I think this one's virtually done now. Yeah.
Jimmy says, hi, Paul and Billy from Singapore. Will you be doing a Euro Fantasy League? No. Look, we fantasy leagues. We started one last season, and as usual, fantasy leagues, it just tailed off. Nobody could be asked anymore. I think I suffer from that a lot. When the season starts, I'm all G'd up, and I do the fantasy league, and then for a couple of weeks, I'll keep going with it, and then something more important will come up, and then it just gets pushed into the sidelines.
What happens is that's a Friday night kickoff, and you miss the deadline to change your team, and then you lose interest, don't you?
Yeah, and then by the time you're sort of 6-7 weeks in, you're sort of 9 billionth in the league, and you think, what the fuck is the point? No, but we are covering the Euros. We're doing full coverage of the Euros. In fact, tonight we've got our Euro 2024 preview. We'll take a look at all the groups and give you our predictions, and obviously you guys take part as well and see if you agree with us. Rich says just don't get Almiron printed on the back of the new shirt. Shame Delitters on monumental wages because I'd snap him for the Toon in a heartbeat. Yeah, very good player. Very good player. Farmer Boy from Adelaide in Australia joining us this morning. Alice did a good report on who to come to the Toon we're linked with. I think she's a closet Newcastle fan. I really do. Of course, we've had her on the channel before, speak very highly of the club. But with this Lloyd Kelly one, Billy, I mean, are we expecting, because he's a free, does it mean we have to wait till the transfer window opens to announce him, or can we announce him before that because he's not contracted to anybody?
No, but it depends when his contract finishes. As soon as his contract's finished, then he's a free agent, and you can announce him whenever you want. I don't know when his contract finishes. Jamming the cab saying that he's heard that it's the end of June, so I don't know.
I'm not sure it's the end of June. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. Villa's owners released a statement, quite strong words. It was very strongly worded. Alessandro says, morning, fellas. There have not been any formal links to these two players. But as a suggestion, what would you think about the Toons going for a guy like Andres Pereira or Sammy Schmodix? Well, Pereira, there has been a little link because we brought him up on the transfer show on, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. Did we do him on Monday? I think we did.
No, it was Sunday, wasn't it?
A Sunday, but he was definitely done.
Yeah.
And Sammy Schmodix, we talked about before, the Blackburn striker, of course. He's a handful, but I don't think he's an Eddie Howe type player. But there you go. Apparently,
it's no and no for me.
Bath says I look like Steve Bull. With the Wolves top, yeah. Well, it's not Wolves; it's South Shield. So
I mean, Steve Bull would never been that kind of striker with the spectacles on that Paul's wearing. To be fair,
no, absolutely not. Peter's Porker Patter is currently being driven home after minor surgery.
Ooh,
I hope you're okay, matey. Niall says, morning, Paul and Billy. Let the other teams bring the motions and stay quiet. Well, I mean, kind of agree with that. Let everybody do the hard work, Billy, and then we step in when and needed, and then just let the hard work be done.
Well, if you don't need to get involved in it, and if Man City and Villa are going to win the cases without us getting involved and spending money on legal fees and this, that, and the other, then I guess that probably would be the way to go. But I think we need to support them, really.
I mean, there is a lot of reports out there at the minute stating that Newcastle United could literally, if this goes the way of a Manchester City or an Aston Villa, this could open the door massively for Newcastle United. It's literally like opening a little attic door for the transfer window or opening the door the size of the Tyne Tunnel. So it could be a very interesting
I believe in strength in numbers. I think the more clubs that get behind these two clubs, the better. Yeah. And if you don't, then you get probably tied to the top four, the big four.
Absolutely. John Steele saying, have you heard anything, lads, on the director of football rules? Seems to have gone quiet since Dougie Freeman turned us down. Well, I mean, we did that guy, Spores, didn't we? And then that went dead in the water as soon as we did that one. So there's nothing in the media regarding the director of football. I keep checking. I go through the news every morning. I get up, I come downstairs, I have my coffee. I'm straight on the news, obviously preparing these shows. And it's one of the first things I look for is a director of football. I think there must be news with the transfer window coming up so quickly, but it doesn't look like we're in any hurry, Billy, to bring one in now.
The last thing I heard that they were potentially looking at promoting Steve Nixon.
Yeah, but that's gone all very, very quiet. So unless it's all been done in-house, and then they just announce it when it's, when it's all done and dusted. I mean, they've done that before.
Have you seen the news about one of our former players that was released in summer signing for Cambridge?
No.
Kel Watts. Cambridge,
yeah, it's probably his level. We had big hopes for him, though. I remember him coming in for a couple of games at the back end of, it must have been about 4 years ago, and we all thought he might play a part. And then, of course, Bruce shipped him off again, so he didn't. JT Toon says a right winger is a must after Kelly is a done deal. If Minte delivers pre-season, then problem solved. If not, what's your thoughts on getting Nicolas Gonzalez from Fiorentina? He looks a real handful. Good player. But again, no links to Newcastle United. But listen, Minte is on fire at the minute, and of course he scored another goal for his country. This kid, I think, could possibly be the answer at right wing. The more I see him play, Billy, the more I think, well, why not? It doesn't matter about his age, because if you're good enough, you're old enough.
100%. He's clearly raw, but perhaps a season studying what the first team squad do and sitting on the bench will kind of iron that out for him. The potential's there for him to do that. However, I still think he'll go on loan to maybe a Bundesliga club or a Liga club or something like that.
Yeah. James Morrison, thank you for your super chat. I think FFP Villa making a statement with trades. Interesting. Simon says it's okay fighting FFP in the Premier League, but when you get into the European competitions, it's even stricter with UEFA and FIFA rules. Morgan Ashton, who's been a member for 10 months. Thank you very much, Morgan. I've only ever had 3 names on the back of my shirt: my own, Shearers, and Barton. Interesting. I mean, some people love having the names on. I think, I don't know whether it's a younger thing or not. Would you say that, Billy?
I think possibly. Yeah.
Looney Tunes says he loved the TTR Fantasy Premier League. Think it finished in the top 10. Well, congratulations for you. I could only dream of doing that. And it never does happen. Now, some very interesting news this morning, Billy, around Bruno. Now, again, look, we have to take these reports with pinches of salt, but there is more than one report about it this morning that Barcelona have arrived on the scene to share an interest in Bruno. Now, of course, nothing has been triggered yet with this £100 million release clause. However, Barcelona now in the mix, Billy. Now, obviously, the release clause actually, according to this report, is active until the 24th, so not the end of the month. So that there is some different reports coming in about when this actual release clause ends, but this one says the 24th. But Barcelona apparently are expected to intensify, as are PSG. So, I mean, look, the more this goes on, I mean, I don't know whether representatives of these clubs are going to come in and say, well, yeah, we've been speaking to the representatives behind the scenes. Do you think they're trying to feel out what kind of wages and things Bruno are looking for before they put an official bid in?
Who knows? But it seems like if this is true, they have rocked up with the hot dogs and the burgers and the chicken kebabs and things like that, and the pork chops and the steaks for that barbecue food that we know Bruno likes with Barcelona. Yeah. I just don't see it. Unless they're going to give us players, I don't see how they give us the money. It'll have to be a player valuation that comes up to the release clause fee. I just don't see it personally. I really don't. However, if he is to go anywhere, I think Barcelona or someone like that would be my choice. Well,
yeah, I mean, we were talking before the show. I mean, I've already said a million times it would kill me to see Bruno go to another Premier League team. I think that, yes, if Bruno leaves, it would hurt anyway. But to go to another Premier League team like a Manchester City, that would hurt even more. However, a Barcelona or a Real Madrid, I can understand them going to PSG. I'm still not sure that Bruno would fancy PSG because, let's be honest, the league isn't that competitive. No. And really, the only thing PSG are short of is the Champions League. And that's the be-all and end-all for what they want. But at the same time, I just can't see him going. I just can't see PSG going in. But apparently, the report goes on to say Bruno is happy to stay at Newcastle United. He's always expressed how much he loves the club. So even if PSG were or Barcelona were to activate his release clause, there is no guarantee from the players' side that a deal would be agreed. The only sticking point is that Newcastle's FFP concerns, as they may feel it's best to move him on to comply with the rules. And basically, Billy, that's the same thing every single time when a player's linked with moving from Newcastle United, one of the big boys. It always brings up the crap about FFP, and I'm sick of hearing it.
I mean, how did Barcelona get around it? It's scandalous, really, isn't it? I mean, they're in the dirt, money-wise.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. It's just tailored so the big elite clubs around Europe, not just in this country, but around Europe as well, can stay there in that position, and no one can compete with them and join in that closed shop of clubs, if you like. I think Bruno would stay as well if it was PSG coming in for him. I think what we need to do is get to Brazil, cut off their internet supply for the next 12 days or whatever, and then 12 days comes and no one's going to spend what we really value him at, which is more than 100 million, I would guess.
Now, of course, a lot of people need to realise that just because if a club does come in, like the report says there, and activates the release clause, that doesn't mean that Bruno will leave. Aussie Mags, thank you very much for your super chat. Barca have as much money as I do in their accounts. And we got a new member, Hoppit. Welcome to Members Club, Hoppit. Thank you very much for your support of the channel. Much appreciated. The thing with the thing, I mean, Barcelona, Billy, yes, we talk about their money situation, but year after year, they're in a financial crisis. And then a couple of months later, they've suddenly been bailed out by a massive bank in Spain again and, go on to buy more players. It's an incredible way that they work over there. It just seems like the millions and billions in debt, and then all of a sudden they're buying players for millions of pounds.
Yeah, it's a transitional period for Barcelona at the minute, isn't it? I mean, at the moment, the club that rule the roost is Real Madrid, who are Barcelona's obviously biggest rivals, and they don't seem like they're going to slow down pretty soon. So, they've announced the Mbappe signing, they've got Bellingham, they've got Vinny Jr., a much better squad than Barcelona have, who have got an aging Polish Lewandowski up front. Yeah, I just don't see Bruno going there for I don't think he's guaranteed to win the La Liga there. That's for certain. 100%
there's not much. I mean, dare I say it? There's not the pulling power of Barcelona isn't what it is, or isn't what it was. Sorry, when they had I guess they would compete with Real Madrid on a level playing field nearly every season. There's not that kind of pull now with Barcelona.
No, it goes in circles, isn't it? Cycles, circles, whatever we want to say. 5 or 10 years down the line, it'll be the other way around again. But at the precise moment in time, the kings of the Spanish league are Real Madrid, no doubt about it.
Dan DG's been a member for nearly 2 years now. Thank you, matey. I don't think their only issue is the fee either. They've struggled to prove they have the wages available in the past to register players. Yeah, I mean, it happened last season, but then all of a sudden they got it sorted miraculously.
Well, they lost Messi, didn't they? They lost Messi purely because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Richards, can we somehow check the date his release clause ends? We say 30th of June, but I've read multiple times it's actually 23rd. So which is it? Well, we've just read 24th as well, Rich. So we'll have a look into that. But I don't think anybody actually knows 100% because it's really only the club would know. James Morrison, thank you for another super chat. He says, would you take Barcola and Ugarte for Bruno from PSG, or maybe Rafinha and Victor Roque, who apparently are looking for game time? We need the positions.
I mean, the two PSG, yes, I would. If I'm perfectly honest, I think that'd be. I mean, Ugarte's a proper 6, and Barcola's a more attacking player. But yeah, definitely. I'd be more interested in Zaire Emery, if I'm perfectly honest, and to take Ugarte and Zaire Emery. That'd be really good.
Listen, I don't want Bruno to go.
No, I don't.
End of story. Don't want Bruno to go. Now, Ryan Fraser, we thought things were going very swiftly getting him out of the club. But it seems, Billy, that he's not going without a fight, even though Newcastle have agreed, despite him having a year left on his contract, Newcastle have agreed to give him a free transfer to go and play for Southampton. But he's still wanting money off the Toon.
Yeah, it's another cycle that's going on, isn't it? Same thing happened to Bournemouth. He wanted out, but he wanted money for going out the door. And it's the same thing happening now. Despite us, we didn't have to do that. Is to kind of release him for free when he has a year left, and therefore negate that £3 million. He still wants it. It's a case of wanting his cake and eating it to the nth degree. Southampton should stump up £3 million, basically. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Yeah, it really pisses me off this, because the club have obviously been kind enough to say, look, we don't want a transfer fee for you. We'll let you go on a free. Go and play your football. Continue your career at Southampton. No problem. Despite the trouble that he's given us, because let's be honest, he's caused ructions for Eddie Howe. He's had a pathetic attitude since he's been at the club. He's been injured a lot of the time. His attitude has stunk. And yet the club have still turned around and said, oh, don't worry, we'll give you a free transfer. Go and continue your career. Yet this little ferret has decided that he wants to try and get his £3 million off Newcastle United. I think the whole thing stinks, Billy. I think they should tell him to piss off and then demand a £5 million transfer fee, or let him sit.
Well, it defeats the object, isn't it? I mean, we're getting rid of him free to get rid of this £3 million for FFP purposes, the wages side of it. And yet he's still wanting that as well as being able to go for free. Doesn't make sense to me. Just say to Southampton, if you want him, you have to pay £3 million for him because of the way he's behaving. I think it would put Southampton off him, actually, seeing this kind of behaviour. I wouldn't want to buy him.
Well, I mean, for all we know, his attitude might be angelic at Southampton. But
if they're reading that, after Newcastle can't allow him to go for nothing, and he's still wanting his wages for next year, you're going to think, is this player's heart really in it? Is he in it for the football side of it? Don't think he is.
I mean, look, I would let him rot. If I was honest, now he's turned and done that after Newcastle have been kind enough to say, get yourself away, go and continue your career. Southampton's a really good move for you. They're back in the Premier League. I would just turn around and say, no, on second thoughts, no, we're not doing it. I tell you what, they give us £5 million, you can go. I just think he's an absolute mercenary. I do, and it just. Well, I mean, it's very early in the day to call him the names I really want to call him. That's a certainty. Kyle said if he's going to be a rat, let him rot. Don't leave him. Don't register him with the under-21s and have him sat at home, not allowed to play for anyone. Ruin his career and release him next year. Yeah, I agree with that. Billy, you had it perfect there. Now you brought all the beans back.
It's lights that just decided to fade on me.
Oh. There you go. That's better. There you go. Back.
One's working, one ain't.
Well, the picture is fine, Billy. You're loud and clear. Don't worry. One's good enough, certainly during the day. Apparently, we put a £15 million plus 5 in add-ons for Ferran Torres from Barca. What do you think, lads? I don't know. Ferran Torres would be a good signing, a very good signing, but we'll wait and see on that one. Now, this one kind of pricked my ears up a little bit this morning, because last season Newcastle United were very heavily linked with Kieran Tierney from Arsenal, not getting a lot of game time. Struggled a lot with injuries. Funny enough, it seems like every single medical problem that players have, let's link them with Newcastle United. Now, at the time, Kieran Tierney was rated or valued at 30 million quid. But now, it seems, Billy, Arsenal are trying to ship him out the club for 10 million. And they apparently contacted Newcastle to see if the interest is still there. Surely to God, we don't need to go down that route now.
No, we have left backs at the club now already. Especially if Kelly comes in, we've got Hall and Kelly to play left back. Target's still not out the door. No reason for us to bring in another sick note who would give the physios absolute hell at Newcastle United. I think he's had a fairly fit season. I think he was it Sociedad or something like that in Spain. Can't think where he was at. Yeah. But he was okay there. He didn't have any problems. Good news for him.
Yeah, a good player when fit.
Yeah,
but the problem is, I mean, the way it's gone for us in the past, Billy, we just can't rely on any more of that shit now.
At £10 million, do you think it'd be a search to go back to Celtic? I would imagine.
Listen, Celtic would be a perfect move for him to go back there and try and win something. Now, news has popped up on Chronicle Live, Billy, that Newcastle United can now get a cut price £25 million deal on a player that Rafa Benitez loved. And that player is Tammy Abraham. Now, of course, he's at Roma, isn't he? But apparently he looks likely to leave. Villa and West Ham also interested in his signature, but this has just literally popped up in the last couple of minutes, Billy. Tammy Abraham, I think, would be a very, very good signing.
Yeah, I agree. He'd be a fantastic understudy for Isak. But I mean, he's been at Villa before, hasn't he? He spent a year on loan there, didn't he? So again, like the Barclay deal that they've dealt with, I think he may go there with the Champions League football as well.
Now, again, this £25 million has been mooted around because Roma need to offload some players. Guess why? Because of financial fair play restrictions. So they are looking to, again, it's like shops having these sort of Boxing Day sales, isn't it? Suddenly, everybody is checking their accounts and thinking, hang on a second, we need to do something here. We need to do something quickly to accommodate FFP. It seems that we're not the only club that is involved in this shit. But it says United boasts two frontline options in Isak and Wilson, although the latter, again, missed large parts of last season through injury. Wilson's goal return is impressive, but some have maybe suggested that Newcastle need another option to be able to cover for and play alongside Isak. After a strong start to his time in Italy, so Abraham smashed 27 goals in 21-22. His return has diminished somewhat, and he managed just one goal in 12 appearances last term. However, he suffered with injuries during his time in the Italian capital, but at just 26 is entering his prime years.
26, all he has been around for years, hasn't he?
Yeah,
it would be a good signing for us, no doubt about
that. Thomas says Abraham is actually shit. Do you watch Roma games? Lukaku is 4 times better, and Dybala is another league compared to him. Please, no Abraham and no Šeško either. Well, Šeško signed a new deal with Leipzig, so that's not going to happen. Listen, I mean, Lukaku, he's been banded around. Chelsea desperate to get him out the club. Obviously, this summer, coming back after a loan spell in Serie A. Dybala I've been a massive fan of in the past. Whether he's still got it now, I'm not sure, but apparently, Thomas, if you watch a lot of Serie A, then I'll agree with you. If Abraham, I mean, it said there in the report that he's diminished somewhat, so maybe Tammy Abraham isn't the option. But we're talking about a second or third striker here, guys. Remember, we're not talking about an actual starter. I think if we were to bring another starting striker in, then they would pay a lot more money than that. I think a striker is probably part of a marquee signing, Billy.
Yeah, I think so. Although saying that, we've got a marquee striker, so maybe an up-and-coming one. I mean, 26, that's no age, really. You've got 5 years left of Tammy Abraham. So I wouldn't be too averse to signing him.
Well, Kath's going a different way. Tammy Abraham, fantastic. Rafa met him when he was leaving Swansea. He was desperate to come here, and then Ashley buggered it up. Well, I think Looney Tunes says Lukaku is 31.
Yeah, his age is against him, isn't it?
It is. But if he's coming in not as a first choice, but then would Lukaku come? That's the question.
He might do, but as long as we paid him the extortionate amount of money that he's been paid recently, well, over his career, really. I think he was on 300k at Manchester United, similar at Chelsea. No chance for coming here.
And the thing is, I think everybody poo-pooing the Abraham thing. Who would they rather think? Who would they rather have? Calvert-Lewin or Abraham?
100%. Yeah,
we've been linked with DCL, and that seems to have gone quiet for now. But you know, who would you rather have, Abraham or DCL? Foxy says the only way you take Tammy is on loan first to see how his fitness wise. Doesn't look the same player at all since returning. Interesting. Well, the thing is, I mean, obviously, if Roma are wanting players out the door for FFP, they'll want to sell more than they will want to loan. Villa fan listening to you while walking the dog in Phuket. Keep up the good work, calling out this FFP crap. Thank you, Martin. And you enjoy your dog walking in Phuket. I'm sure it's better weather than what we've got here.
Oh, it's shite, isn't it?
There's a £12 million release clause for Griezmann. Good pace and great passer, just up there in age. Great backup. I think Griezmann would be a wonderful signing for just a couple of years, Billy.
Ooh, what a player. What an absolute gem of a player he is.
And the thing is, even if his legs are diminishing, his vision and his football brain's still there. You know, it's.
And the thing is, as well, we're on his radar because remember him playing in Football Manager and signing Mbappe for us with when he managed Newcastle on his FF match.
I remember that. Game. Yeah, I remember that.
Obviously, on his Antoine Griezmann. Ooh.
I mean, where would he play though, Billy? That's the question.
Wherever he likes. What a player.
Yeah, you'd have to fit him in somewhere, I guess, wouldn't you? Now, again, I'm just having a quick look on the reports that have just come in here. This is an interesting one, Billy. Gigantes in Spain have reported that Newcastle have set their sights. Yeah, it was mentioned before. Ferran Torres, that's now picking up a bit of pace in the media, Billy. £5 million plus $5 million in add-ons.
I like Ferran Torres. He's a fantastic player.
Well, he destroyed us, didn't he? Remember, he got a hat-trick at St James's Park. Absolutely destroyed us.
What hat-trick it was.
And I think £15 million plus $5 million in add-ons, that is an extremely good deal. He's only 24 as well, Billy.
Yeah.
So he's age on his side, and he's obviously got Premier League experience. Of course, Newcastle were linked with him last summer as well, but this could be a cracking signing, Billy.
The only thing for me is the reason he left Man City was apparently because he was homesick. Would that be an issue again? I don't know. But of course, Newcastle's a far better city to live in than Manchester is, so maybe it would work.
I mean, it just
I think it's a fantastic player, Ferran Torres. It really is a fantastic player. However, wages are getting an issue here, I think.
Well, it could be that obviously if we're getting, £15 million, that seems like a good price deal, Billy. So maybe that a £15 million transfer fee could well step up the wages. But
maybe
this is interesting for me because we were talking earlier about Barcelona stepping in possibly for Bruno, yet they're selling players at good price because they need the money. So I don't understand that. And certainly in this report, what do they need the money
for, though, Paul?
Well, I mean, you could look at it that way, Billy, of course. But listen, last season he finished with 11 goals and 4 assists from 42 appearances. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad in a Barcelona side that really
struggling, yeah.
Especially considering that Lewandowski was the main man. So yeah, I'd take that in a second. I really would. It's unlikely that the Catalans hold out for a bigger sum as well. So it seems like they are desperate to sell Billy. Which go get him.
100%. Love it. And he can play anywhere along that front three as well. Fantastic player.
Looney Tunes says he's on around 192k a week apparently at Barca. Look, I think if he comes back to the Premier League, I think that will have to change, and I think he'll understand that. But again, if we're, you're talking about making up your wages through signing on fee, bonuses as well as your general salary, so you don't have to pay him that much. But look, I think if you're talking about 3 strikers here along Ferran Torres, Tammy Abraham, or DCL, Ferran Torres, go out and smash the bank for because he's a very, very good player. But we'll keep an eye on that one, Billy, because that might develop. That might well develop. But that is it for this morning, guys. Round about 40-minute show. There's not really any detailed news to bring you, but like I say, we want to keep these shows going, have a bit of chat with you guys, and as you know, there's breaking news as we live. The breaking news there about Torres and the other stories that we brought you this morning. So it can happen while we're live, and then we get your feedback straight away. But don't forget, we are back at 7 o'clock with our Euro 2024 preview. Me, Alex, and Billy will take a look at the groups and see who we think is going to qualify from there and give you our winning predictions. I say winning predictions. We'll probably be miles away. But join us in the chat and, see if you agree with us, which will be very interesting. But thank you for your super chats, your new memberships. Mods, thank you. Billy, thank you very much. But again, a massive thank you to you guys. Over 800 again this morning. We are going to be doing one of these shows shortly where there'll be massive news to bring you. Hopefully, we confirm the signing of Lloyd Kelly shortly as well after his medical today. But thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you all back here at 7 o'clock. Have a great day. Take care.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check on some green.